Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Zeri supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at Zeri with RUNAAN's Hurricane. Now we all know the best build for Zeri is, well, apparently it's AP, which I'm going to have to try out real soon, but it's basically normally going to be the crit build, if you guys can see here, with the Essence Weaver. So normally you go Bloodthirster into Essence Weaver second, which gives you a lot of burst damage and just a generally good build, right? But, as you guys know, RUNAAN is an amazing Zeri item, but it's not a crit item. So you kind of either have to go for it at the back or do what I did here, which is to go for RUNAAN's earlier. So if you go for RUNAAN's earlier, you have the problem that your crit is delayed and the Essence Weaver becomes kind of not as good because it's more of an early game item and you don't want to build it like third item, fourth item, doesn't really make sense. So then you have an awkward situation at the end where you first start with the Gluttonous Goose for the early AD and Omnivamp, and then you go for Bloodthirster again for the early game stats, as well as, of course, the shield, and just generally good stats, right? Then you go RUNAAN's, of course, to attack 3 people at the same time, which, of course, nullifies Zeri's weakness of only being able to attack the first target. And here's where things gets complicated, right? Because, basically, your next 3 items all don't want to be in this item slot. What I mean by that is, with Infinity Age, you want it to be your third crit item, but this is going to make it the second crit item, right? Because it gives you a lot of AD, but also increases your crit damage. So you want to have some crit rate before you increase your crit damage. With Mole Reminder, you also don't want to build it third, although I see a lot of people doing it, because at that point, it's not very goal efficient, because Armor Pen is not very important at that point in time, because people don't have a lot of armor, right? Of course, you get Grievous Wounds as well. And then Soul Transfer similarly scales off of crit. So you don't want it as your second crit item because it's not going to do a lot of damage. So kind of all 3 of these items kind of suck as a third item. So you really have to kind of pick your poison as to whether you're going to go for IE first, or Soul Transfer first, or what not, right? So you can basically kind of swap the order around. It kind of really depends on you as to what you prefer. Sometimes I change it up from game to game. I don't really have a fixed build in that sense. But for the runes, I do have a fixed loadout, right? Basically, it's the normal loadout, but with Conqueror, because with Zeri, you don't need attack speed anymore. You have 2 attack speed items here already, and you're gonna go over your cap, right? So Conqueror is just way better. You can stack it up real quick, get extra AD and extra Omnivamp. And for the spells, Flash and Ghost is best, but if you need Cleanse, go for Cleanse. Otherwise, as I said, Ghost will be the best. But anyways, with that said, now let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at the gameplay itself. So, straight off the bat, this is going to be a pretty weird game, but I know there's going to be a lot of action at the beginning, so I'm not going to get too big into the discussion just yet. We're going to kind of see what really happens, and we're going to kind of just go from there. Right, so the game starts, I'm playing with a Leona. Of course, Zeri works very well with enchanters like Lulu, Yumi, Milio, etc., but can also work with engagers, just not as good. So you see, look at these two, look at the Nami and Ezreal, right? So we see them walking, we're assuming they're warding the river. However, they don't show up at the wave, so I'm just attacking the wave, and they actually show up past our blue buff, which is warded, and they're going in a very weird route. So here we decide to go cut them off. Nami walks straight into us. We're just attacking Nami for free. She flashes away, and we're just chasing them down. Nami gets stunned. I'm free hitting on Nami. Nami doesn't have flash because she already flashed, so she's just stuck here. We kill Nami. Ezreal now flashes away. Leona flashes to follow. I flash to follow as well. Ezreal pops the barrier, misses basically everything, and we kill him as well. So we get a basically free double kill at the start. All summoner spells blown except for my cleanse, which of course I didn't take cleanse for Ezreal, or even Nami for the most part. I mean, actually cleanse against Nami is pretty good, but it's mainly for like Vi and Galio, for example. So we are able to basically get 2 early game kills, and the game gets off to an amazing start. So that's very atypical. I've never seen like anybody 2-man invade the jungle. I'm not sure what their plan was. Were they trying to 2-man attack the Kayn who they think started on blue buff? Or were they trying to get a deep ward in? But regardless, the pathing they took is really weird. Why was Nami walking towards my tribush? It's so weird. So anyways, that was a very, very strange encounter that probably won't really happen in other games, but because of that strange encounter, we actually start the game with a 2-game lead. Of course, that is an amazing start. It's not going to happen every game, as I just said, but, you know, if it happens, you know, we just make the best of it, right? So here, Nami, once again, finds herself out of position, no flash from the previous exchange, gets stunned by Leona, is running away, but eventually does end up going down. Ezreal takes a bit of damage as well, but not a lot. Right, so the first point of discussion I kind of want to talk about is really Zeri's build. So as I mentioned just now, probably Zeri's best build is going to be a crit build with Essence Weaver. Now, there is that strange AP build that's popping up just now that when I showed you guys, which I wasn't even aware of, as you guys could tell from my shock when I saw it, but I'm gonna definitely have to test that one out, maybe make a video on it. That seems very similar to like the Varus and the Varus build, basically. Maybe AP Zeri is the way to go now, because Zeri really, which is the next point I wanted to discuss, is really not that strong now. Ever since her rework, losing out on the movement speed, losing out on the shield, she's become a lot weaker, and she's definitely not as good as she once was, which is pretty sad. But yeah, so with the, as I say, with the RUNAANs, you kind of, number one, create a problem of delaying your crit. Number two, you kind of create the second problem of not knowing which crit item to go for as a third item, which is really problematic. But at the end of the day, this build does work. Now here, Leona kind of goes a little bit too ham and goes all in under Ezreal's tower, which I have no idea why we were doing that, because I don't think we can kill Ezreal under tower, especially when there's minions in front of him. But a little bit of an oopsie. You know, Nami gets the kill, resets her bounty. So does Ezreal. He gets the assist, resets his bounty. So I think that's a win. If we can, you know, kill them afterwards. But basically, this is probably the suboptimal build. I think just not going for RUNAANs is probably just better. Or if you want to go for RUNAANs, maybe go for the AP build. Right? The Nashus into RUNAANs build, right? Maybe that's the way. But of course, even though this is not the most optimal build, it's still a really good build. So here I'm trying to bait them into the Nami, which kind of does work. Ezreal does get caught a little bit, but we're not really in a position to kill them until now, when I realize that they're so weak that I can just dash in ult and then burst them down with the ulti, which is just really sad, right? This opens up the tower, allowing me to attack the tower. Nami is trying to go onto Ezreal, basically zoning Ezreal away from the tower. Vi now coming, so is Kayn. We're now backing off because Leona's getting pretty low, and Vi is ready to go in, so we don't want that. Now we're going to channel the reset, but looks like a fight might be breaking out, so we are going to cancel the reset. Wukong is TPing top. Leona's still there, gets to engage onto Ezreal. Ezreal gets chain CC, trying to trade onto Nami, trying to trade onto Leona, doesn't work. Nami now comes back, trying to trade onto Leona as well, it doesn't work once again. Wukong and Kayn are able to kill in the river as well, and the game is just snowballing out of control with our team just getting a bunch of kills. Wukong even doesn't even steal my wave, and you can see all of our lanes are winning. We have a 3-0 Kayn, a 2-0 Gragas. I'm 4-0 at this point. Of course, Leona is pretty fed as well because we've been combining for kills, and Wukong is 1-1-1. He is behind the Riven, but he just did make a TP play on the opposite side of the map, which means that Riven gets free minions and free tower plates while the Wukong was helping his team, so can't really blame him too much on that one. Now here Gragas is coming in for the roam, bombs Nami back into danger. Ezreal gets caught by the Leona ult, and here we go in with the ulti, killing him. Nami is running into the enemy territory, she's not getting out, and we get another 2 kills, putting us to 6-0, and we already have our Bloodthirster completed. So we're in a very dominant position. Now with that, we can clear the next wave, focus on the tower, get even more plates, and continue on our snowball. We're like 2k goal up on Ezreal like 5 minutes into the game, and I'm not going to say the game is over, but like my team as a whole has such a huge lead that we're like, what, 5k goal ahead of the enemy team at like 5 minutes in the game. And of course, you guys know that goal difference matters a lot more in the early game than the late game. Like 5k goal at 5 minutes means a lot more than 5k goal at 15 minutes. So this is a really, really huge lead just for my team as a whole. The objectives are spawning. I secure the Skull Crab. Ezreal and Nami finally get a push in. Even attempts to go for some tower damage, which is pretty bold. And I'm just sitting here clearing the minions. Ezreal takes a tower shot.
Your team has slain the enchanted ensemble.
And Leona's on the way back to the lane. However, Ezreal and Nami kind of know better by now. I don't think they're going to be in a position where we can actually engage, so we're just going to have to back off. Now we secure the Herald, and we're heralding bottom lane. Now I don't really want to do the dragon because my jungler is on vision on the other side of the map, so this seems a bit int if I just do the dragon. So instead I'm going to rotate over to mid lane and either look for a pick on Galio or look for the mid lane tower. In fact, a fight is breaking out in the blue buff area, and we're trying to make our way there. It looks like it's going to be a 5v4 with Ezreal just alone in the other lane. I go over, pop the ulti, Galio goes down. I'm going for the Riven because I thought Vi was dead, but Vi actually kind of makes it quite far, and then Riven dies, and Yeah, now 7 minutes into the game, we're diving them under the inhib tower, which kind of just says everything you need to know about the game. This is a very one-sided affair. Now I was gonna back here, but there's 4 people here, so I'm thinking, wait a minute, we can just take this inhib tower. At 7 minutes into the game, we get the inhib tower, and now it's time to look for a reset. Dragon is still up, but honestly, Dragon doesn't really matter considering what else we can do on the map. Of course, we don't want to give the enemy team a free bounty, so of course we're probably gonna want to do it. But yeah, we get the RUNAAN's Hurricane off of our base, and while our team, or rather while our Gragas is getting disrupted, trying to go back to base, he gets out pretty easily by jumping over the Dragon Wall. I'm sorry, that was the Baron Wall. And we just push out, and now we're looking for Dragon, or looking to rotate mid. Now, if it looks like a fight's gonna happen mid, Wukong and Leona go in. I'm now trying to follow up. It gets us like 1 HP at this point. I was thinking like, you know, should I flash right? Then I realized that, wait a minute, this Galio is like 0 and 6. That was such a wasted flash, but we kill Ezreal as well. And here, I was thinking once again, like, do I cleanse to kill Nami? And I was like, initially I was like, that's not worth it. Then I was like, wait a minute, I want that kills. I popped the cleanse like halfway through the CC, and we don't kill the Nami anyway. So that was, yeah. But regardless, now we secure the dragon, Kayn secures the dragon, we secure some kills and the mid lane tower as well. And we're literally legendary at this point, being 8 and 0. Yeah, just having a good time. Right? I mean, honestly, at this point, if you're this fed, kind of whatever you build doesn't really matter as long as like you're not trolling with your build. I'm not building full tank or anything like that. I'm just building my damage items. So since I'm so fed, I decided to go for IE this game because obviously with how fed I am, armor pen doesn't really matter so much at this point because, you know, no one is really tanking on the enemy team considering how much gold I have. Ezreal Nami once again, looking for something. They get caught out. Together with the Galio as well. Nami dies. Galio tries to ult Ezreal, but that's right, still in danger. He dies, and Ezreal dies as well. With the smite from Kayn. And yeah. So as I said, I go for IE this game because IE gives me the most raw damage. Like, I don't really need Soul Transfer or Mold Reminder right now. So IE is probably just the best option because it gives me 60 extra AD. That will definitely help. And now we are just counter jungling the enemy. Kane's taking their red buff. I'm just taking the Krugs. And the enemy team is just getting choked out, basically. 8k gold lead for us now. Now, the only thing we need to do is to just not throw the game, right? So this, whatever I'm doing here, mildly dangerous. But at the end of the day, not quite, because the enemy team is kind of mid. And Kayn gets the kill onto Vibe. I think with the red buff, Riven now attempting something. But yeah, I mean, Riven probably has the best state of anyone on the enemy team because she did get a little bit of time to solo farm while Wukong was making the roam, so she probably is doing a bit better than her teammates. But that doesn't help all that much because our team just a little bit too far ahead at this point. Now here I kind of just want like another wave. Because I think I'm quite close to IE at this point if I'm not mistaken, but I don't want to overextend for it, don't want to make any weird mistakes, but here, next wave does come in, we're going to just farm up that wave. And then we're going to try to back off and get off a reset. Yeah, here, the whole enemy team was kind of walking towards me, Leona was walking out, so I thought like there could be a fight happening here, so I canceled my base. But in the end, nothing actually happened. So we actually back and get the IE. Now Riven is trying to 1v1 the Gragas, and I think she's actually winning. Does kill the Gragas. Kayn is now going to chase her. So now, initially I'm thinking that doesn't matter. We can just do the Baron, right? But Galio shows up. Nami shows up, and now Kayn is in trouble. Kayn's dying. So I'm like, wait a minute. They're throwing the game. So we need to now do something about it. So now I'm rotating over. Leona flashes in and dies as well. So my team starts inting one by one, and now Wukong's flashing in. Sorry, not flashing in, but dashing in. And I'm, wait a minute, what's going on? So I want to reset. Wukong's getting run down. I'm thinking, uh-oh, maybe he needs help. So I'm turning around to help him. And I pop the ulti thinking we're going to fight, but he now flashes out right as I pop the ult. So basically I wasted my ult completely. And yeah, things are just really, really messy at this point. So, a little bit of a throw from the enemy team. The enemy team, sorry, a little bit of a throw from my team. Enemy team gets a lot of gold as a result. Our 8k gold lead now is only like 2k gold, which is disaster. Like, everyone had shutdowns, I think, so they got basically all the shutdowns that my team has. Definitely Kane shutdown, maybe Graga shutdown. Wukong maybe not. Next dragon is up though, so we're probably going to take it pretty easily. If they contest, which they look like they're doing, we can turn on them and try to fight. Yeah, so we get the kill here. I don't know why this guy is jumping in. They're all jumping in, but I'm just kiting away, kiting away, kiting away. I don't have my ult, so I'm just basic attacking at this point. I was thinking at this point, this could be a pentakill potentially, so I'm dashing forward. I'm trying to finish off the kills, flash over. Trying to get the kill onto the Riven, sniping her with the W, making sure she has nowhere to run. Now I'm on the triple now. I'm seeing the last two enemies, right? I see a 1 HP Galio and a low Nami. I'm like, wait a minute, this could be Penta. I try to dash forward and ult him, but he somehow is out of my range. Maybe Nami gave him movement speed, and then I realized that, you know what, I'm not getting those kills, so I decide not to waste any time. I'm going back to pushing out the mid lane. Wukong was almost trying to end the game. And he does distract the both of them, which allows me to push in the mid lane without any real threat. And now I can even push down this tier 2 tower without anyone really being able to stop me. I back at a pretty dangerous position, so I'm going to walk back a little bit just to not be at a position that's too in. Here I reset, get more reminder. In this case, I'm going for the soul transfer last. The Galio, sorry, not the Galio, I mean, actually, technically, yes, the Galio. The enemy team in general is getting a little bit more tanky than what they were, of course. So, just having some armor pen will be helpful. Yeah, Ezreal just gets destroyed there. Riven is on our left, so we know she's not with the team. So we're just basically kind of running them down at this point. Now, I'm gonna ping for Baron because we don't need to chase them. We just need to go and get Baron and then end the game. So that's exactly what I'm going to try to get my team to do. Neonat's with me to tank the Baron. And Kane and Gragas trying some shenanigans. Now Riven is trying what is probably the best move, which is try to split push. But Wukong does notice it, so he does go back to stop her. And now Riven cannot really split push. We get a free Baron. For some reason, Nami and Galio decide to walk in despite the Baron already being taken. I cleanse the Galio CC. I run both of them down. And game's pretty won at this point. Two of them are dead. We have Baron. We can probably just easily push in any one of the lanes and then probably just brute force our way to the Nexus and end the game. In fact, Vi and Ezreal basically have kind of given up. They can see us pushing down the lane, but they're not actually trying to stop us. They're just clearing the wave on the bot lane. Now, even if they wanted to stop us now, Gragas will stop them from going back. So, at this point, the game's basically won. Yeah. We're just going to end the game with 3 people alive, no one defending the Nexus, and that's going to be it. So, with that, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.